a safe space to have conversations about a multitude of topics. And today is no different. We have, we're, I'm honored to have our guest today, who everybody in this community knows. Um, today we have Bill Calderara. He is the CEO of Ulster Savings Bank, and he is creating quite the reputation in this community. All positive stuff. He's amazing. But I'd also like to introduce my beautiful co-host,
Hi.
Melissa Fisher. Melissa,
Hi.
tell them a little bit about your book. She's an author.
I'm the author of Where Pain Meets Power. You can get it on Amazon.
You need to let them see it, though.
Oh,
Let them, yeah,
okay.
promote
Well,
yourself.
I want to hear more about him.
You will.
I want to hear
You
the
will.
book.
So, anyway, my book is on Amazon. Go and read it. You'll love it.
What
Story
again? The
of pain,
title.
Where Pain Meets Power. I took my pain, turned it into power, wrote a book. I'm
I
thankful
think
for
that's
the
fascinating.
It
journey.
is.
Yes.
Yeah. Every episode, I want to make sure that I give her flowers because that's amazing. People don't normally think because you're going to help somebody just by having them read your book
Mhm.
to maybe work
Absolutely.
through some of their pain. That's awesome. So Bill Calderaro, Bill Calderaro is the CEO of Ulster Savings Bank. He has one of the best personalities, and I know you're sick of me bragging about you, but I am not somebody that lies. I will not try to promote people or say positive things just because of what we're doing or in the moment. I mean it. I met you before I met you. We were on a Zoom because you do everything. You do so many things in the community. I don't
Mhm.
remember who it was or where it was, but they said bank, and I'm like, wait, we have a banker that's sitting through this whole Zoom. That amazed me in itself because I don't see that. And then like the conversation wasn't all positive. It was like people were complaining about issues that they had, and you rolled with it. You were like doing your best to think of solutions. I was like, who is this man? Like I noticed him because of that. So then I was with him, or I was at a bunch of events, and I'm like, he's everywhere. Who is this man? Like, it's just so unusual for somebody in a position of chief executive officer to be involved so deeply in the community. And I have nothing but admiration for you because of that.
Well, thank you. I
Yep.
appreciate that. Oh,
Like I
yes.
said before, she has talked about you, and I couldn't
I,
wait to meet you. So it is nice
yeah,
to finally meet you.
yeah. And but everybody talks about Bill.
So
Like you could bring his name up anywhere, and it's like, yeah, Bill's awesome. He's awesome. So it's really nice to hear because you do things. I've been involved in everything from government to everything, and even like down to the nitty gritty. I talk to bums on the street, like
Mhm.
from one end of the spectrum to the other, because my mother always said you can learn something from a bum on the street. So I literally will do that. But it's nice to see that you are a genuine person. That is awesome.
Well, thank you.
So we want to
But
find
man,
out
I feel the same way. You can learn something from anybody, everybody.
anyone,
So,
anyone.
mhm.
So I want the people to know a little bit more about Bill Calderaro and the things that you're actually doing for Ulster Savings Bank, which is Ulster Savings Bank is doing some amazing things, and I don't think the community has half of the knowledge of all the things that Ulster Savings provides as far as services, because I have been educated. So I want to make sure that we make people aware in this conversation. But first, let's learn about you. Ask him some of the great questions you were asking him. I thought they were great. I was like, save that.
well, I wanted to know like what made you get into banking and stuff. So
Yeah.
go ahead. Now you can
No,
say it again.
so as I said,
Sorry.
it really wasn't what really was what I started to do, and but I was referred into. So I started in sales and sold office equipment. Thought I was going to do work with one of my friends, and his father had a computer firm at the time. But I was always interested in real estate, so I went and got my broker's license, became a real estate agent. But because I had degrees in finance and computer science, in a very short period of time, I found out I was helping to structure the financing for the deals
Wow.
faster than I was
Who does
selling real
degrees in
estate.
finance? Oh my
So,
God.
um,
You're smarter than I thought.
so it just came naturally. And then I was literally about to get married, and real estate was a great career, but didn't have a lot of stability or benefits or different pieces. We knew we wanted to raise a family, and it was my father-in-law who said, you seem really good at this. Why don't you look into banking? And I did, and
Wow.
I'm glad I got into it. So that was how I got
Yeah.
into it, and I've worked for probably almost every size bank, some of the largest. money center banks down on Wall Street. Was down there for a number of years. Smaller
Wow.
banks, regional banks. But I love the local community bank, and I love our mutual model the best.
I was
And
That's
thinking.
the
how
basis
many
of it.
people can actually say they love doing what they do?
I do.
So it's amazing.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
really great to hear.
Yep.
Wow.
No, I love getting up every work and going in every day. It's just there's not many careers that you can have where you can see you're making a difference in the community, helping people, right? And we one of the things we say all the time is we don't sell products and services. We help people fulfill their financial dreams and goals, right? And that's really
So
amazing.
that point right there, we don't just provide loans.
Mhm.
We help people. So for somebody that would beg to differ, let's say somebody had a bad experience with a bank, they went to a bank and they got denied a loan.
That happens.
A
It does
home
happen.
equity loan.
Yep.
It
Let's
does.
go with a home equity loan.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm doing this for a reason. So, because I remember somebody telling me that, and I said, "Well, did you actually get information about what it was? What did? Because there are things that we need to do to prepare for certain things, and we don't know. We're not
Mhm.
educated on that. So, if somebody had an experience where they were denied a home equity loan, is there a process with loan officers or whomever they would speak to explain why and what they would need to do to possibly correct that?
Sure. So we tell any if we do deny a loan, right? We try to always find a way to make it. And my philosophy and one of the questions we do in the credit philosophy that I brought to the bank was the first question we actually ask is maybe different than a lot of other institutions. The first question we ask is, are we helping the customer by making the loan?
Good point.
Okay.
Wait, repeat that.
Are we helping the customer by making them the loan?
Okay.
Right. And there are times that I can't answer that question positively, right? That for whatever reason we're not setting them up for success, right? We also have to look at from the bank side. Obviously, it's we have safety and soundness, and we have regulations we have to follow.
Right.
So we want to make sure that's a good loan. So that the follow up questions would be: are we putting the bank at undue risk? But I've had several situations where I can say I could make the loan from a safety and soundness standpoint, right? We're not going to lose money on it, but we're not setting the customer up for success, right?
Right.
We're setting them up for failure, and therefore the end result is going to be we're going to go after that collateral, go after the different things, and we don't want to be in that position.
And that's one of the things that homeowners or people that are provided loans don't always understand. So it would be
Right.
better, if my understanding is correctly, it would be better to deny a loan as opposed to giving somebody a loan that they are not capable of paying back.
Correct, because especially if you're taking other collateral or different pieces, you may put them in a worse position at the end than you put them in the beginning. So.
Right.
So, that's one of the philosophy things, but we try to tell them what it is. We try to coach them around what it was. One of the things that we do, and I think, as far as I know, we're the only bank in the nation that does it. So the federal regulation requires you, if you were to deny somebody for credit, to refer them for credit counseling, right? To an agency, a head
Right.
agency that does counseling.
Awesome.
So all you have to do is refer them, right? We found out it costs anywhere from $190 to $250 to pay for that service.
Wow.
So we said if we deny you for credit and you want to take the counseling, we will pay for that counseling, even though we didn't make the loan.
So there's the answer that I was looking for.
Mhm.
So this friend of mine that actually applied for a home equity loan and was denied. It was normally when somebody does that, they're in need of some kind of support. Like nobody just does home equity just because it's a nice thing to do. There's a purpose for them doing it. So getting denied would actually be like, wow, I can't believe it would probably make somebody that's in a position where they need that money
Mhm.
feel worse. The thing is the follow up. And that's the thing that I was trying to get to. Like, so if someone were denied, there is an opportunity for the loan officer or someone to give them information or to direct them to a counselor that could actually say, well, you need to do this, this, and this. Sometimes things work best for me that way.
Mhm.
Like if you tell me I need
No.
to do A, B, C before I come and do D, that helps me.
Right. And as you know, we also try to do that ahead of time. So we one of the things we're really committed to is providing a lot of, we call it financial literacy. We really call it more financial
Big on
empowerment
financial literacy.
within the community. So we do a lot of we hold first time home buyer seminars, we hold training sessions. Actually, we're doing them right now in the big bubble.
Right.
You know, when
Right.
people are coming in doing their laundry, they can come in and
Clarissa.
get and learn
Shout
about.
out to
Right.
Clarissa. She's all over the place, and I think that is such a cool thing.
It is.
But now, how do you announce this stuff? Like, how do people find out about it? Because I don't ever really hear about
Yeah,
it.
so we try to do that in the community. We're out on social media with it. We do we'll sometimes put it out in public media. We've put it sometimes on radio stations that it's coming up or different pieces. So we do have a full public relations outreach program around the different trainings that we do. We also provide it in many of the school districts. We do it through a lot of the nonprofit organizations. So
We do events
we
at
do
the savings
events
at the bank.
at the bank.
I
We hold
just
them
did
there.
one which had we had everything. We had loans, we had loan officers, we had insurance, because there are so many services, payroll and tax. We talked about how all the different departments, investment is another department that is serviced at Ulster Savings Bank as well. I think part of the reason why people don't know that is because not everybody looks on every site. So if Ulster Savings Bank has a site and they're advertising and they're putting it in all these places, sometimes people's focus as far as internet services or um social media services is not that. So you're not looking at Ulster Savings Bank to see what they're doing.
Mhm.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to have Bill on here, because we've had episodes on everything under the sun.
Mhm.
And I wanted people to know that there are things out there that are actually educational on why you need to do things the way you need to do them to apply for a loan, or just general financial literacy. You know what I mean? All of this is informative, but people don't get it because they're not looking on those sites.
Right.
So the more that we actually put it out there in different areas, the better
Yeah.
off people will be. And just having an everyday person, like people come to me for all kinds of things. They see me go through something, or they see me in politics, and they think I have the answers to everything, but just because they saw my face, I can direct them to the right place. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I thought it was important to have him, just because there's so much more than what that he's providing, that their bank is providing, as opposed to people coming in and just doing their checking and savings and applying and getting denied from a loan, because there are solutions, there are educational opportunities. So
And it's really across all of, that's why we call it financial empowerment. It's for all age groups. It's not that you
Right.
just get it young. There's great programs for young kids. We have it from, really kindergarten through, high school through college and levels. And then
Wow.
we do a lot of education for seniors. And right, those programs may change. So how do you watch out for scams? How do you protect your your assets? Do what things do you need to potentially do for retirement? So we have a whole program around Social Security and retirement and different components. It really is every age group. So that's why we call it empowerment. It's not necessarily, literacy is always something that sounds like I'm not illiterate,
right,
Mhm.
but
right.
it is empowerment, right? So it's a learning program, and it
It's
just teaches
definitely.
about it. And we really feel if you start it young enough, if we're really going to make a true socioeconomic change, that's it. Told Dean, I think I've told this story in the past. The first program I was involved with
Mhm.
at a youth age, the first graduate was a 12-year-old young Hispanic girl, got through the program, went home, taught her family how to do the first budget they ever prepared, and brought
12
them
years old?
12 years old and brought
Wow.
them into a bank and opened their first bank account.
That happens
Right.
more than we think. Kids
That's
teach
that's a
us more than
change.
right.
That's a
Mhm.
change, not just in her life, but she changed her family's life by just going through that empower. That's why we call it empowerment.
That
That's
is
that's an amazing change.
such an important point, because that is a way to prevent generational poverty.
Mhm.
And that is one of my big things, by helping targeted populations and underserved populations. The more we educate, the more that they're going to elevate. And that's what Nina's
Nina's
Bag is
Bag.
about.
Yeah.
Advocate, educate,
Educate,
elevate.
elevate.
So I want to just bring to the audience's attention Karin, who is an awesome employee of Ulster Savings Bank. I can't say enough about her. Karin's
Yeah.
last name is
Johnson.
Johnson.
And then,
She is in the marketing department, and she's amazing. She really is. I asked her for information about to get a couple of the folders, and I just said a couple words. She knew exactly what I wanted, what I needed. Very informative. If you ever have the opportunity to sit down with a loan officer, or you have, let's say you're going to Ulster Savings tax support, which is another service that they provide.
Mhm.
Please, if they give you one of these folders, please look at it, read it. It's very, very informative, and it says smart business, and that is the best title for this, because it's a full gamut of services like that people aren't aware, like the financial literacy for students and on a high school level or a junior high school level, going into a classroom and teaching even the most minute things, how to write a check. I remember some of the classes that I took are no longer offered at schools
Right.
always.
Oh,
So financial literacy is very, very important. But Karen is amazing. I wanted to make sure I mentioned her name and Clarissa. Clarissa Timbrook is amazing. She's my liaison with the bank. And her and I have been doing some amazing things. She's out there more than I am. I'm all over the place. But Clarissa is going to be doing financial literacy at the Big Bubble, and that is the Broadway Bubble. I'm sorry.
yeah.
That is an amazing thing because that's regular people, and I love touching regular people. You know what I mean?
We want to bring it to where people are, right? So that's
That's
really the piece,
awesome.
and that's Clarissa's. It's probably an unusual role for a bank. What Clarissa does, but
That's
Clarissa is our
awesome.
community relationships officer, right? That's not something that she's not really business development or different people. She's really out in the
Boots on
community,
the
making
ground.
relationships in the community, finding out different contacts. How can we make a bigger impact? Um,
Boots on the ground. And I
but
wanted to,
but we're a big part of we're a part of this community. We all
oh,
live, work here.
boy, are you
We want to
guys.
be. We just want to be part of it. We've been a part of this community for 175 years.
I love it. There are things that I know that like get me excited about kind of like I won't say bragging, but actually giving flowers to a bank that really is serving the community, because there's a whole community service part that they're doing. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I want to also mention in the information that Karen is so uh, very able to create for the bank and provide for marketing purposes, fraud services. I learned a lot about fraud services. Everybody's getting scammed all over the place. Ulster Savings Bank has so many things in place to prevent fraud services and also to make people aware.
Mm-hmm.
Even as deep as the tellers. If somebody comes to the teller and they're actually trying to access your account, they're very, very thorough. Like they want to make sure that somebody's not accessing your account or somebody's not doing something negative to you. And I'm sure that all banks provide services like as far as fraud, but the educational piece that I was given was amazing. So I just wanted to make mention of that because
Yeah, we want to try. That's one of the things we're trying to protect our customers as best we can, right?
Right.
And it's their funds, so we can't stop them from doing certain things. But if we can pick up red flags in a transaction or something that they're doing, unusual activity, and we can same thing, educate them about it, or at least ask the questions.
Right.
We've probably saved millions of dollars for our customers that they were going to either send out or give to somebody. And I was in a conversation for almost 2 hours today with a gentleman that is being taken in a romance scam, trying to convince him not to do
It
it. We
happens
got him
every
to stop,
day.
not to send this out.
Every day.
Wow.
And it was,
That's people's
it was a life
professions
savings.
now.
They were gonna give this person access to.
Wow.
Hmm.
That happens way more than we even think.
Way
it
more than
does.
we think. It's rampant.
And it's
It's a shame,
devastating.
but it's rampant.
Imagine your life savings and somebody connives you into giving them access. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now you said 175.
175 years.
Hmm.
That's awesome. That really is.
Yeah.
So
That's a long time.
just to refresh the audience, 175 years. This is Ulster Savings Bank's 175th year.
107th year. We were founded in 1851. Actually, April 12th of 1851,
Crazy.
the bank
Wow.
was founded.
It's the oldest bank in Kingston.
Yep.
That's
The oldest
crazy.
in Hudson Valley. Yeah.
Oh, in the whole Hudson Valley.
Mm-hmm. And one of the oldest in the state. Yeah. It's
Where
Wow.
was it first? Where was the bank?
we
located?
were right on Wall Street.
Oh, okay.
So the branch that's up on Wall Street, our Wall Street branch, we've had that branch in place since 1871.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So that branch has been in that corner, that section of Wall Street since 1871.
Amazing.
So that's our historic branch. It's not a modern one. That's kind of you step back in time when you walk in there, but that's kind of on purpose because
That's right.
we want to honor the history of that. And then some of our other branches are more modern in electronics, but that kind of is a little bit. It's our branch, but it's also in many ways we're going to be doing some updating to it. It's almost like a museum. So
The
we want to
history,
kind of
right?
Mm.
So
keep it.
branches, there are branches. It's another thing I don't think people in Kingston, as much as we see you here, there are Ulster Savings Banks all over Ulster County,
Mhm.
all over Dutchess County, and
Orange
Orange
County.
County.
Yeah.
So we have branches in all three counties, which is I was riding on 9W, I'm sorry, 9 all the time. And then I learned, wait, there's a Ulster Savings Bank over here. Like I can go right there.
hmm
It's crazy. So I eventually my plan is to get down there more and to do the same type of things to make people aware, to advocate, educate, and elevate because this bank has opportunities, and one of which I'd love to talk about. We might as well just segue to that. Eric, one of the loan officers that was actually at one of my last events was no, actually the director of the loan department was talking about a loan opportunity that Ulster Savings has available with a $30,000 grant.
Oh,
Um,
yes. So
that is amazing.
mhm. Yep. So for first time home buyers, we do a lot for first time home buyers, and because again, that's kind of the basis and the story of building wealth.
Getting people in homes.
So we partner with a number of different organizations, but one of them is the Federal Home Loan Bank of New York, which we're a member of and shareholder in, and they have we can apply through them for affordable grant funds that we can put into the community. So last
Mm.
year, I think we got almost $2.5 million worth of grant funds through them that we're able to put back into the community. And one of the couple of those programs are grants for first-time home buyers. Some are grants for building affordable housing, which we did. We helped with Golden Hills and a few others and got them funding through the Federal Home Loan Bank. But the one you're talking about is there's grants and it's can be up to $30,000 per
Right.
homeowner for a
For first
first-time
time.
buyer to help with down payment assistance, to help pay with closing costs, and to help get them into the home.
Which is enticing. Like
Mhm.
just to know that somebody's offering that. Of course, you have to meet the requirements, but I don't know many banks that are offering anything like that.
I've never heard of that.
I have never heard of it.
There's a number of programs through the Federal Bank. We are just very successful with it. We've been very successful in getting the funds, and we're really successful in putting those funds out. There's been a number of institutions that have gotten the funds, and couldn't get them out into the community because they couldn't qualify applicants or do different pieces. So
Wow.
we have never turned funds back.
Wow.
We've used every dollar that we've gotten within the community to put it out within the community, and that's because Eric and Rich and the opinion out there are really fighting to find people that can use this,
That was one of the
and
first
usually have a
things.
waiting list for it, so that when
Oh,
when
really?
it
That's
comes,
good.
right, we try to prepare so that when the
That's
funds come,
good.
because you only have a period of time to use them.
But that means
Yeah.
it's
Right.
getting out. You're putting it out
We're
there.
putting it out
If
there.
you have a waiting list, that's a very good
Mhm.
sign because first time homeowners are clueless. They don't know what to do. I was like, it's very, very hard to educate people on some of the things that, we know after getting a house. But to offer just that's a very good enticement.
Yeah, and it's sometimes again it's for purchase money and first time buyers, so that's sometimes difficult, right? Because you can't always know when there's going to be a house on the market in different
Mhm.
pieces, and you don't always put that off. But we kind of have an idea of when the funds may be available. We can't know that 100%, but we know what time of year they usually do their allocations, and we try to just start talking to people ahead of time so that if it does come available, we have people that could potentially be using
I
it
have
as
someone
quickly
that's
as
going to
possible.
be reaching out to Eric. I was supposed to send her his number yesterday. She pulled up to my house and she said, "You told me about this thing with Ulster Savings Bank," and I said, "Listen, just call the loan, meet with the loan officer." And her son was with her, and he was her holdup. She was an ex army vet,
hmm
which I thought was awesome, female army vet, and she is going through a lot in her life. She's on dialysis, but she's been trying to educate her kids about this loan opportunity with Ulster Savings Bank. She wants to set things up for them. So she's been struggling to get her son, who thinks he has it all figured out, to come and speak with the loan officer. And she's like, "I'm telling you, listen to Nina, you got to go to this bank." I said, "Listen, just have a conversation. Go have a
hmm
conversation." That's how it starts. People think they have to have $40,000. No, go
No,
have a conversation to get things rolling because you do have to pre-qualify, which people don't even know that sometimes.
Right.
You don't just go and get the loan; you have to pre-qualify. So they're supposed to reach out to Eric, and there will be more. So I think it's a matter of actually it's much more than just educating people. It's kind of walking them to the door
Yeah, it
sometimes.
is, and it's
You
sometimes
know.
having. So one of the great things we have on our website, and I think you've seen it lately, but we do a lot of videos. So we have videos from a lot of our
Oh
customers in
yeah,
different pieces. But one that's out there that we did recently is called A House for Luna, and
I
it
love
really
that one.
talks about this. The family was gracious enough to talk about their journey for home ownership, right, and getting qualified and what it meant, and working with Habitat, and they said we never thought we'd be homeowners, and they talked about how they were able to do it and what we were able to do with them.
And it was perfect for that family because
Mhm.
their daughter had special needs, and so their focus was on their daughter with special needs, but they didn't think that it would be possible or reachable to get a house. And it literally shows them. They take us into their house on the video.
Right,
And
because her needs caused him to be a one income family because the mom needed to stay,
right.
take care of her.
So now
So
this is on your website,
it's on
that
our
video?
website.
Well, it
So
was
Okay.
at the event that
the
you
House for
missed, and
Luna,
that's
yeah,
why you
and
didn't
we
see
played
it.
it there.
We
Mhm.
played that video there. Yeah.
But there's a whole series. There's also, if you're interested in financial empowerment or literacy, we think we have 101 different modules on our website on every topic, from how to read a paycheck to starting a business. I mean, and every gauntlet in between. What credit is, how to apply for
How their
home
bundles,
ownership,
how the
homeowner
bundles
the
work,
bundles
check-in.
program. Yep, right. How
Yeah.
how our programs work, or some of the specific products that we have that we've tried to develop to help people on their financial journey. And
That's
that's
why
yep.
that's why those events that we're doing are important because the people that actually attend those events, they have the capability of going online and
Mhm.
get it. You guys do them online. They have I think they do Zooms. I don't know how often they do them.
Yeah,
Financial
we
literacy
try to
does
mix
Zoom.
them up. So we have both in person and we have them but virtually as well, because we realize some people can't get out or can't get around. So we're
Right.
trying to do what we can.
Are they
All
they're during the weekday?
they're
So
most are outside of work hours. So like some of the ones that people will do during the day, but most of the home buyer programs are either early evenings,
Hmm.
sometimes on a weekend or Saturday or something, because we realize people are working. So we want to
working,
make
yeah.
sure that they're available for that. And all the ones that we do, both on the website, but in person, we do them both in English and Spanish. So we
Hmm.
can do them both. And with a click of the button, our entire website, not just a page, not a piece, but the entire website flips into Spanish.
Wow.
Which is
Yeah.
if you say either English or Espanol, if you click the Espanol button, the entire website, including all the training programs, they all turn into Spanish as well
Wow,
with just
that's
that
really
one
good.
button.
Yeah. There's a wealth of information. It's amazing.
So now you have a couple events coming up.
Well, I wish you had made the event that I had. That event that I had all these things: banking, loans, insurance, payroll. We had each department head at at that event
Mm-hmm.
explaining what happened, and it got to be so involved with the because people that were there were asking questions like, well, how do I do this and what does this mean? And it was great to have the head of that department right there answering questions. It was a great opportunity. And the event that's coming up is not actually, it's the opposite. We will have documentation there. On May 6th, we're doing an event where we will have women from the community, everyday people that have been through things. The topic is pivot, continuing your destiny despite life's injustices, because people go through things sometimes so much that they're caught up in that and they don't have an opportunity to progress. So we're going to have all of this information at that event. We just won't have the speakers and questions. We're going to have people speaking, which in my way, it's going to kind of like word of mouth is kind of a very, very good way of getting things out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have people listening to these women and their stories, but also there will be a wealth of information when you come into that event.
Will there be like a table set up for some
Two
of that?
tables.
Two
Mm-hmm.
tables?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there'll be someone there that if someone had questions.
And then
Mhm.
on our website, ulstersavings.com, we also have a list of events that are coming up for like the first time buyers. Said the seniors program, which could be Social Security, it could be fraud prevention. There's just a
I
plethora
didn't
that
know
we
you did
are.
Social Security. See, I
Mhm.
learn something new every time I speak to this man.
Mm.
But the first time home buyers, for anybody that's listening, please get online and on their site and check that out because it's informative, super informative.
I think people get overwhelmed
It
or they
is. It's
think they just can't get a loan or something, so they just back away. But I mean,
you
your
know
bank sounds very
yeah,
informational and helpful.
it's a complicated process in many ways, right? The first time you ever go through it, and I'm not saying it's overly complicated, but I was in banking for a number of years. I've been a realtor. The first time I actually bought my own home, I got to the end of it and I went, wow, like
Right.
I didn't know some of the stuff that really had to
Amazing.
go through to do that. So, there's having somebody who can help you guide you through that and has done it before and can prepare you for some of those things is important. And that's why, again, I think the programs ahead of time kind of prepare you for that. Right?
Hmm.
So it's not a surprise. One of the things when yeah, I teach them every once in a while or go to them once in a while, and I did this, earlier in my career where I actually taught the programs. And one of the first things I always said, I said, I have good news and bad news, when you're a homeowner. And the first part of the good news is you no longer have a landlord.
Yeah,
And the bad
that's
news
good.
is you no longer have a landlord.
Right.
Very
And
It's on
true.
you.
because there are different things. Right?
That is a
So,
very
so
good
yes,
point.
it's yours, but now there's nobody to call
When
when
it's
something
broken.
when something's going wrong. So you
Mhm.
have to be also preparing. It's not just buying the home. That's what he said. It's always, are we helping them to succeed? Right.
Mhm.
It's not just buying the home,
Hmm.
but if the home you're
Maintaining.
buying, is it maintaining the appliance? These are new appliances. How are you going to pay for those appliances when they come up? The furnace, the roof, the outside maintenance, the different components. That's all stuff you really do have to start planning for almost from the beginning,
Mhm.
right? So that you don't get into it and then end up in a problem, right? If the roof starts leaking right after you moved in, that's not necessarily a great
People find
solution,
out that way,
right?
though,
And they
Yeah.
find out that way.
unfortunately.
So, so we encourage them, get inspections, do the different things. That's part of the guidance on what we'll do to go through this. And many of them are fine. I'm not saying there's always a
Mhm.
problem, but you want to kind of start planning for that ahead of time, right? If the refrigerator stops working, you can't now call a landlord and say my refrigerator's not working,
That's right.
Yeah.
right? You're
I,
going to look in a mirror and go, my refrigerator's not working.
a
Like,
funny
Yes.
thing, I was dating, well, not dating, but I was going to the movies with this guy, and we were actually getting ready to go to the movie, and I said, I was thinking to him out loud, and I said, yeah, I gotta get my furnace looked at. And he was like, you better call your landlord. And I'm like, I am the landlord. And his whole expression changed because he could not believe that I owned the house. And I right then and there said, I need to get away from him. Because if this is surprising, if this is like big news to him, then he's not on the level that I need to be talking
Mhm.
to.
Mhm.
But it just goes to show how far-fetched people think it is to own a house, and it's a lot, but I want to try to encourage people to look into it. Do you know what I
oh,
mean?
absolutely.
Or even
It's a,
business. One of the things I found out also that the bank does is business insurance. Who knew?
Mhm.
I didn't know that. So there are a lot of business. Everybody has a business around here.
Mhm.
One of the places that you want to check is Ulster Savings Bank. Little Isaiah has a business. You have to have insurance because if
Sure.
you're going to be doing carpentry and all of those things, which he even teaches me things, you can learn from everyone. Look, oh, you got more
Yep.
cards?
We
Oh,
are.
you got to
I'll
we got to
get,
get you
I'll
more
get one on the way
cards.
out.
Mhm.
But check out their
It
insurance
is.
department because you'd be surprised, and it's not as expensive as everybody thinks. I looked into it.
No, so
Yeah.
we are a full financial services company. So we have all the banking products, so things like checking accounts, savings accounts, CDs, investments, loans, all types of loans, business
Hmm.
loans, home equity loans, residential loans. But we
We
also have
caught
a
that.
full financial,
Mhm.
full insurance company. So both personal and business or commercials. So
More
anything
than
from
just
auto
banking.
insurance to health insurance for your employees or investments. We have a wealth management group for any type of investments. We have a title company, so as part of the purchase of a property, you want to make sure that you have good title to that property. That's a title insurance policy. We have that,
Mm.
and we do have tax preparation, helping with bookkeeping services, for small businesses, and
Businesses
even
too.
we can help them with payroll
Mm.
services.
Oh,
So
I didn't
it's
know.
really the full
I didn't know you do
gauntlet.
payroll service.
We have
Wow.
that through an affiliate that or a partnership with
Good to
another
know.
company we
I was
did
just
directly.
looking into that. That's
So it
crazy.
really is kind of full service around all of those, and it's just and as even our tax preparation group and our booking is that's not to compete with accounting services or an accountant.
Right.
Mm.
It's really for when you're just getting up to that stage. So
Learning
we're
how to
probably more of an alternative to like
right.
an H&R Block or something like that than we are to you want a professional at a certain point. You want a professional to be on your team.
Mhm.
So we don't try to compete with accountants and CPAs.
I love the basic services like for somebody that's just a family that's working, they're grinding. The mother works, the father works. The father works two jobs because that's what it requires nowadays, and they don't have time to really keep up with things. even to have information on basic services. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I was doing financial literacy with this company out in Lake Katrine, and they actually, I found out that so many people don't know the basics even, and it's surprising. And that's nothing to say bad
It's
about
not.
anybody, but I was happy that we could actually open the door. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We had a bank come in and they did financial literacy with us, and we even helped some adults write checks. It was crazy. You know what I mean? But it, and then we also did it for youth as well. But I think it's very, very important for people to become comfortable
Well,
looking into things. You
right.
know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that, again, that's why we call it an empowerment and literacy. And it's, part of that is because we used to, when I went to school, that was some of the stuff you learned in
Yeah, they
school.
don't do
Yeah,
it
I
We
now.
remember
don't
that.
teach it anymore.
No,
We don't teach any of the life skills.
that's
And I
weird.
think that's a loss.
That's very
Um,
weird
That
that
is a
like
very big loss.
that students who know how to do anything technologically with phones,
Mhm.
anything,
Hmm.
they are like way advanced, but they don't know how to write a check
My daughter's like that.
or
She's
open a
24
checking
years old,
account.
and she's like, I can't write a check. I don't know how to write a check. How do you know? And I'm like, what?
But it's an easy thing to
yeah.
us because we were taught.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, and whether it's a check, check is one instrument, right? You can write a check, you can use a debit card, you can make payments in many different ways today.
Mm-hmm.
You can pay off your phone on different pieces. So it's not just the basic of writing a check; it's just understanding that entire concept
Right.
of how do I make payments, how do I budget, right? How do I know,
right.
I'll have the money at the end of the month to make and pay all my bills and the different components, and that's part of that. That's part of that empowerment.
That
That you're
financial,
doing the pieces. We've created
Yeah.
some products to kind of work and help people with that.
right?
So the one recently we put together is called the Budget Bundle. So it's
Love it.
3 accounts bundled together, where you have a payment account. That's where so if you're working, we recommend you deposit your check or get a direct deposit in from your paycheck or your income source into the payment account. That's what you use to pay all of your major bills, right? So
This is really cool.
rent or housing or cars or all the rest of the stuff. From that, is tied to that then is your spending account. That's the one you use to go and spend
Yeah.
what you want to,
Mhm.
and then a savings account because you should always pay yourself first and save. So
I love when
we set it up.
he taught me about
Oh, yeah.
this.
So you set it up where the deposit goes into the payment account. You automatically tell us how much to take out of that and put into your spending account and how much to put in your savings account right away.
That's
Mhm.
cool beans.
And then so you already have the savings in different pieces. We have it tied to a program that helps you budget. It's a form that you can fill out and figure out what your budget is, what you need to have in that account for the piece. In this way, if you're using that spending account, you can't accidentally go
Mess up
out
the
and
other
mess up the other account, right?
because they're
You just
separate.
right. You
Mm.
can make a conscious decision to move money over to your spending account if you wanted to do it, because we try not to even tell you don't even take a debit card with the payment account.
Mhm.
Just use that
Mm.
either electronically to make the payments for different pieces. And this way, we saw this a lot of times when we went, oh well, I was out and I used the debit
do
card
it.
and now I'm short for
I'm
making my
guilty of
car
that.
payment or short for
Mhm.
making my housing payment.
Right.
So if you've put that in in its own account for payments, you can't accidentally make that
I
withdrawal.
like that.
Right. So it's just a way to teach you to help. It's helping you to budget, and it's helping you to do that, and then having a way to do it. It's not that complicated. I jokingly say with my parents and their generation, they always had the envelope system, right? You'd get home and they get the
Mhm.
paycheck in cash. They were paid in cash. Dad would give mom the envelope, and she would say, okay, this is for the groceries, this is for the rent, this is for the the different pieces. And they
Right.
put them all in separate envelopes.
And if you're
and
lucky,
you
a little
didn't take one
savings.
out of the other envelope. This is almost the concept that I helped create this account from, and saying you can't accidentally use the money you expect it to be for one thing for something else by accident.
Cool process.
love
You
right.
can
that.
consciously make that decision, right? You always could have
Mhm.
consciously went back to one of the envelopes and taken a little bit extra cash out and put it into the other one,
Mhm.
but you never do it by accident.
So
Right.
that's a learning tool in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just the bundles. Like I always, I love when he told me about that because I tend to do that with my savings and my checking, but I'm constantly moving it. But to have them designed for different purposes is so intelligent,
Yeah.
and it makes things easier, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
It
I
just
love
makes
that.
it easier. It really is just designed to make that process easier for people and give them the tools to help
I-
them do it. Right, it's help set up the budget, and then the budget will help you
I'd
say
love to
what
do a
needs to
little
go into
class
those
on
different
just the
accounts.
bundles because
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
how far fetched it is. There are people, including myself, I'm speaking from experience, that just take money and somehow pay bills. There's no order to it. Sometimes there's just we're doing the best we can with, but to have it organized would make it so much more
hmm
beneficial to me and my bills. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
So
we
that's
hear
a
all the
class
time.
in
I said,
itself.
they look up the balance and they go, well, there was money in the account, so I was able to use it, but not realizing that
That there's outstanding things,
there's
there's things
outstanding
that are
things that hadn't
pending.
come through. Right? That's
Yep.
the
Hmm.
old balancing of a checkbook
Mm-hmm.
or different pieces that people don't do today. But
Right.
this
Yeah.
helps you to do that in a an easier form.
And I think the younger generation really needs that because it's hard to live out there nowadays. Like if you
It's
think
hard.
a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. So
Definitely.
even to try and get some money to put to the side and stuff is really hard. I mean, rent is outrageous. So
Just
like,
but to have a goal, that's like a
well, that's what I'm
goal.
saying.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
offer so much like good things.
Yeah.
Like you're very helpful and
Yeah. That's
I
why I
learned a
wanted to
lot
have him.
within this 45 minutes that
Yeah.
we've been talking.
But which reminds me, we have to talk about some of the other services that are humanitarian almost services that Ulster Savings Bank does, which totally fascinates me. And I thought I knew about a lot of them, but I want you to elaborate more on the community services that Ulster
Sure.
Savings Bank does.
Absolutely. So again, we're a mutual bank, and the reason I say that is we don't have any shareholders. We're not a public company. We exist for the benefit of our customers in the community. And I always say it this way, which is how we got there. Our founders put up their own money, their own capital, because they felt the need for a bank within their community to help it grow and prosper without any expectation of getting that capital back or a return on that capital. So we always felt it was the ultimate form of philanthropy, right? They put that in to help their community. So that's been in our DNA for this 175 years. So we've built off of that over time. And we've always given a certain amount of our profits back into the community. In fact, in 2001, we formed our own charitable foundation. And the bank funds that 100%. We don't take any outside donations into
I want you to
into
pay
there.
attention to this because it's amazing what
So since the founding of the foundation and between the foundation and the bank, we think we've given about $19 million back out into the community in the form of donations. Last year, I think that was $816,000, $816,585, because my marketing department always tells me if I just round it off, people don't believe it. So,
Can you and nobody and he's like the most humble, like that's like incredible into the putting back in the community.
Yeah.
So this is money that people don't have to pay back.
these are all
feel
direct
that?
grants.
Say that number again.
No,
It-
just the
Yeah, I mean-
just the fact that it is something that it's philanthropy that a bank is doing, that this bank is doing. And honestly, I've come to know that you do more than I've seen any other. This bank does.
Again, by forming the foundation and what we give a good percentage, but the foundation also allows us to give more because now that has grown. So it's a
Nonetheless.
nice it's a nice foundation, and we were able to reinvest that and then use those funds to put out into the community. So the foundation will go on in perpetuity, and that's why
So-
we set it up that way.
Would it be unfair to say, for you to give some examples of who you've supported, or does that that might cause a mess? We might not want to do that.
I don't want to think about, but last year it was 249 different nonprofits within our community got funding.
249.
Mhm.
That's incredible.
Yeah, but I'll tell you the thing I'm more proud about with it. I mean, the money is important and capital is important. The other thing we do is we feel human capital is just as important as the dollars. So we ask 100% of our employees to volunteer within the community in
They
some
do.
passion. We don't tell them whatever their passion is. So if they want to, help out at a food pantry, great. If they want to help out, we have a number that do builds with Habitat. We have them that work at their church, their synagogue, their mosque, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's just we
Events.
want them involved back in, and a lot of them were with a lot of these
Harambe,
nonprofits.
my Kingston kids. The event that I did at
People's Play. I mean,
the bank, the financial literacy, they volunteer for that.
and the chamber or anything with it. And
That's
last year it was just over 5,000 man hours that they donated back into the community and
Wow.
timing. So
All over.
in a time when we always hear that it's hard to get volunteers, it's hard to get
Mm.
different people. They're out there, they're doing it, and I'm just couldn't be more proud of them.
It's just what they
Mm.
do. The event that they did here on Franklin Street,
Mhm.
there were volunteers at that event. All over a lot of the things that we see people at the Broadway Bubble. I think they do
Yeah.
work with them. Anything, all the positive things in the community where people are doing events. Ulster Savings has manpower that is volunteered hours.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
That's
that.
great.
Yeah, it's like second nature. I was like, the event that I was doing, for example, they were like, "Well, we're going to need volunteers." So I bought 2 volunteers, but they were like, "Well, we'll see who else we can get." And I was like, "Really? Like,
Mhm.
I'm not used to that. I'm used to doing an event, and I have to do everything." But so helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they do an amazing job, and they're out there for so many different things.
Saturdays,
Saturdays,
Sundays.
weekends, Sundays,
Yeah.
nights. Veterans Association, different pieces. In fact, there's a few of them that we almost have to turn down some volunteers for because so many want to volunteer for certain
Hmm.
certain of our programs that are meaningful to them. And it's not that they all aren't helpful, but there's a few that are always near and dear to their hearts. When we do a once a year we host a luncheon for all the veterans within the community, and that
I
one
love
is
that.
always one where we
Right.
have more people want to volunteer for that in some way, shape, or form.
Mm.
And it's not we
Especially
turn around.
now.
We just find different ways for them to help and do different things with it. But there's just a number. The other one is always the Black Business Awards. We always get a number
That
of
is an
people that want to
amazing award.
volunteer for that because it's a great event and a great night.
That's a very good point, Tim, because the inclusive, there's a multitude of organizations out here of color, Latino and Negra, that are um, that lean on Ulster Savings Bank and that are provided support. I was like, oh, I was trying to introduce Bill to something. They were like, we know Bill. I'm like, okay, all right. I didn't. Everybody knows Bill. Oh, we know Ulster Savings Bank helped with us with this. Ulster, like I've gone and helped to deliver checks to organizations, 501(c)s, nonprofits that are actually out here, boots on the ground. Which it's so awesome to see that a big institution like Ulster Savings Bank, the oldest bank in the county, takes the time to do that. You know what I mean? To give back. Not everybody's doing that.
No.
I just want to put that out there. So,
As I said, it's really been in our DNA for that 175 years. So for us, it's a natural fit. And
it's
it's again,
humanity.
we're part of the whole concept of the bank. And the founders founded it to have a bank within their community to help their community grow and prosper, right? And it helps. It's right. It's if the community is growing and prospering and better, then we're going to grow and prosper with them, right? It lifts the whole community. It's not just about small parts of it.
You're involved with Radio Kingston
We do a lot of reading
because I went to ask I was asking Manuel or somebody um about, because normally when I was at the county, I did events. Everybody would find out about, and they'd say, "Hey, come on the show. We want
Mhm.
you to tell us about, let the community know what you're doing." So I'd come on the show. So I was telling him about the event, that the previous one that we just had, and he was like, "Well, we might want to run this by Ulster Savings." I'm like, "I'm doing it for Ulster Savings Bank." He's like, "Well, they actually," and I was like, "They're everywhere.
Mhm.
You're everywhere." Awesome,
We try to be as
awesome,
best
awesome.
we can.
That's what that puts the community first, because if you're uplifting one organization or one area or underserved people, the whole community is going to
Yeah.
benefit as a whole. You know what I mean? Like people talk about crabs in a barrel. You're definitely the opposite end of the spectrum. Like some people are all about themselves. We got to get this. We have to be the best bank. Blah blah blah. You guys are giving back. There's so many everyday people in this community that know about Ulster Savings Bank because of the work that's done, whether it's volunteering, whether it's a service that's provided. And I think I felt like people were getting away from the knowledge of positive things that are happening in the community. And that's why I wanted to do that financial literacy thing in person. Because the first person I spoke to said, "Well, we do it online." And I said, "No, no, no. There's a group of people that I know that are not on your site, and I need to bring them to Ulster
Yeah.
Savings Bank."
No, we want to do that.
I
Or,
want it to be
we
inclusive. So, yes.
the thing we do realize is we can't reach out to everybody, right?
Right.
So we try to reach out in as many different ways as we can, and we also we realize we also can't fund everything, right? We'd
Of
love to,
course.
but
Of
the need is
course.
so great. So there are times we pick and choose, and when we make those decisions, we try to make the decisions or how are our dollars going to the largest, greatest good that it can go for
Right.
grouping, and we also try to move it around a little bit so it's not
The
always funding
same
just
ones.
one type of, or not one organization, but even we're funding what the organization does, right? With the mission of that organization, there may be 10 organizations that kind of are funding or doing the same missions. We can't
That are
maybe
doing a
fund all
great
of
deal
them,
of work.
but we try to also rotate that around. So,
But even
and get it
besides
out there.
the philanthropy piece,
Hmm.
I love the financial literacy
Yeah, that to
because
us is that's one of our
to me, that help
passions. It
that
really is our
takes
passion.
it takes generational poverty. Like people that live in the projects tend to their
Hmm.
kids tend to live in the projects, and their kids tend to live in the projects. But if we actually educate one generation about the simple things like financial literacy, we're actually defeating, we're dismantling that generational poverty or the um, probability of it continuing because it's a cycle. It
Yep,
just continues and continues. We're going to break that cycle.
you're gonna break it,
Yeah.
and it also is, all of that fits into, and I think the reason we do all the things that we do is it really truly fits into our vision and our values. We're a company that really, or an organization that really operates under a strong set of values. They're not
Yeah.
words that sit in a in a book or sit
No.
in our annual plan and we look at once a year. We live them and breathe them every day, and we really do. And I didn't create them. Our employees helped create all of
No,
them.
and I think
Right?
that's awesome.
And that's and if you listen to them again, we always talk about we have no shareholders, we have stakeholders. Right?
Right.
We're the people that are interested, and our we typically refer to those as the three C's, right? Our customers, our community, and our colleagues, our teammates, and we want to make sure we're taking care of those. Um,
But
and
the
our vision
cool
is that all of our customers feel like family, so they come back with theirs.
well,
Right?
these organizations that I've actually gone to big events here in Kingston, even the smaller ones, tend to feel like that when
Yeah.
the name of the bank comes up, and I think it's really cool. And we have stories like the little home for Luna. That kind of stuff gets me.
Mm-hmm.
That gets me because that's everyday people that didn't even think that this was that having a next chapter, especially after dealing with so many um, tragic things, like to know that their daughter had to have services for the rest of her life and to be able to still reach and have something positive for her to improve the quality of her life. I think that is my kind of stuff. I
Yeah.
love those stories,
Now
and they're being created.
that story is heartwarming. 'Cause,
Hmm.
it. She talks about it and she tells the story, and I mean, does both things in Spanish, but she really goes almost into tears a part of it because
Right.
she talks about she went elsewhere, tried to get qualified. They couldn't qualify for anything, and she came into us, and she goes, you qualified, you helped us qualify, but you did something else." She goes, "You gave us options, which gave us hope." Right, and that was
And then
the
it
thing
shows
that
them
was just
going
tugging at
into
your
the
heart when you
house.
heard that one.
I was like, everybody in the room was like, we at the last event that we had, we showed that, and I was like, that was a powerful piece. I saw it when I actually first got in contact with Ulster Savings Bank, and I was like, we need to make sure we show that because it makes relatability. That
Mhm.
relatability makes things reachable for other people.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, no, that's why we asked them if they would share it, because that's the piece, right? You have to hear about some of those stories to know you can do it as well,
And
that's
I
really,
like the
which
thing.
is probably what
Oh, her
the
book is
basis of the book as
amazing.
well, I would guess.
Her
Right?
book is she doesn't speak up. Now before the mic is on, did you see her before the mic was on? She's
Because
when
I
that
love
mic comes
asking
on,
questions,
but I love it.
but you're talking, he's talking, and I want to hear what he has to
No,
say.
you gotta
so I
jump
just
in.
let
Jump
him
in.
talk.
Jump in. You had good stuff. I that was a good a simile. Where pain meets power because
Yeah.
people go through things. Everybody goes through things. I don't know anyone who hasn't. Everybody does. But to have resources out there that we don't know about, I wanted to make sure that we put information out there about positive things that are being provided from Ulster Savings Bank, and we're going to be out
I think
there.
it's great what you're doing because you're always promoting Ulster Savings Bank, even when we were over at the other place. I mean, you're great with that.
Oh, we
I mean,
appreciate
and
it.
like I said, she talks very highly of you.
Because I see the outcomes.
I know, but like your voice goes a long way.
Because hopefully
Mhm.
some
And
like John Marie, and I hope she watches this. She literally pulled up to my house yesterday and said, "Please explain to my son what you were telling me." And I
How old is her
da-da-da-da.
son?
He's a grown man. He's like the age of my son.
Oh,
But he
okay.
thought he was being protective of his mother. Well, we have to wait and see. She said, "No, we have to make an appointment." She's an Army vet. She never used her vet services.
Oh, absolutely,
Mm.
sure.
I'm like, get your mom to the bank. Like, I said, the world is changing. There's a lot going on. Don't sleep.
Yeah.
Don't sleep. So, what a good conversation, Bill. Did I miss anything? Because that was a lot of information for us to put out there.
It is. It's a lot, but it's great, but that's again what we're trying to do.
Right.
The more information somebody has, the better,
Right.
right? Better decision you can make.
I
More
want to
informed.
see more stories of Luna, like a home for Luna, or small businesses that are actually
Well,
like
there's a few of those out there as well, as you know. So
Right.
there's 2 or 3 that have that just had some of our business owners, actually Drew's on it, a few others, and
Oh, I didn't see
Frank
that
Waters
one.
and one piece. So it's more of our business customers talking about the bank.
Oh.
And they're a little bit longer because there's multiple stories
Mm-hmm.
in each of them, and then we also have them broken down into the smaller ones. But
Mm.
talking about the bank, and one of the things I always say is anybody can do a transaction, right?
Right.
So it's not about the transaction; it's about what happens after that, right? What happens if you're having a difficulty? What happens if do you have somebody to go back to talk to? Can help you get through the process? And they really all talk about their stories, which was just phenomenal.
That is
Um,
so
and not a
relatable.
word, by the way, not a word of any of the videos, Luna's video or any of these are scripted anywhere.
No,
It
and
was
that
all
you can
just
see
people
it though.
talking.
You can
And the
see that.
intro to the one with all the businesses on it, they recorded me first, and I just talk about the things, and then they never heard mine. Nobody ever heard what anybody else recorded. We showed it for the first time to the
I
whole
like
group
that.
at one time, and it was amazing how everybody was talking about
That
the
was
same things
homegrown.
and talking about
I
the
like
community and
that.
the different pieces. So
That's very,
it was
very
kind of neat.
natural.
Yep.
Mm.
And people need to hear that, because sometimes people in the community look and have done things the same way. I'm one of those people. I paid bills the same way over and over. I even had a boss that had a system of how she did her bills in a projected way. She was working for next month's bills. And I said, Marianne, I could never pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
Ever pull that off. And then after hearing about the bundles program, I'm like, I gotta fix this. I gotta fix this. If I want to be out there advocating about Ulster Savings Bank, I need to be able to do that. So it's interesting, and I'm improving the process
Mm-hmm.
just simply because I am doing it in an organized fashion. It's crazy, and it's simple, like you said.
We believe it makes it simpler, right?
At
So
first, it wasn't though.
you just have to understand the concept, but it's a great tool for helping you to
And
prepare for that,
and
manage that money in a
and it
better
was
way, make
messy.
it
I was very
smarter.
messy before.
Yeah.
That's how it was. It was very, very messy, and I seemed to be intimidated to do it in an organized way. But now I'm like, why didn't I do this 10 years ago? I could have had a game. So
No,
yeah,
that's what we're trying to do. We try to do it the younger and younger too. We have products, as you
yeah,
know, the Smart Start program. We have payment or checking accounts for
yeah.
youth up to 13 years old. They can open their own account
I did
and
not
do it
know
with the
that.
different pieces,
So
with
how
their
cute
parents'
is that
consent and different
for you
pieces.
with
But
your grandkids?
and then Smart Start Savings. So there's an educational component of it. So they get links to some of these financial literacy modules, and as they complete those, they can get little awards, or we can
Wow.
actually deposit
And
into
something
their
for their
account.
grades too.
Yeah, if
Something.
they bring
Yeah.
in their report cards, we put money in the account for every B or better.
Wow.
Get on the website. Get on Ulster Savings Bank website and come to events. And if you see programs out there that they're doing, whether it's Zoom, jump on it. Information is powerful. Seriously.
Love to see you. Love to see you. Have you come.
Advocate, educate, elevate.
Wait, I
That's
have
what.
one thing I want to say.
Yeah, please.
So happy belated birthday.
Yes.
Thank
So
Happy birthday,
I wanted to say
Bill.
that. And my boss's birthday was the same day, Joe O'Connor,
Right.
O'Connor and Partners. So good
Give you another
birthday.
good one. Here's
Yeah.
another
Yes.
good one.
My
Just a good-
father-in-law was born on that day too. Yes.
And I
Very
think we're
nice.
right on the money with the time with Bill's time. I'm so glad you came.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
so
thank
happy
you
we
so
came
much.
to be here. It was great.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm always bugging him to come to events, and I appreciate you taking out the time for us.
And I enjoyed
Thank
the
you,
time.
Isaiah.
This was great.
Thank
Very
you.
informational.
And thank you.
Yes.
Isaiah, you're the best. Thank you. Nina's bag. Awesome. Awesome.
I did
Painless,
not
right?